is a beautiful thing. It grows to the quiver of a fife that sings. I can take it with the wave of my hand and place it upon my music stand. Such a beautiful thing. Such a beautiful thing.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. And right now I would like to welcome those of you who might be watching this as a prepared video on one of our video platforms. We post all of my videos on YouTube, but we also post them on BitChute and Rumble. So please subscribe to whatever platform you are watching this on. There should be a subscribe button down there somewhere. It depends on the platform. And then leave a comment. More people have been leaving comments lately, which is really terrific. So please leave a comment. Just share some thoughts. I love to read them. We love to see them. So thank you. Okay, this is the first Sunday of the new year. So as I said, welcome and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024. Woohoo! I am so happy to be in 2024. I'm happy to be everywhere. So I am happy that life progresses, and I am grateful and happy for all the healing that we had in 2023, and I am grateful to take that plateau of healing into the new year. You know, the new year is one of 3 holidays that A Course in Miracles actually does refer to. It refers to Christmas, it refers to Easter, but it does refer to the new year. And one of the most important times it does that for me is this. It says, so will the year begin in joy and freedom. There is much to do and we have been long delayed. And I just thought about how rich that statement was. I could talk for hours on just those 2 sentences. But I try not to talk for hours. I try to talk for 25 minutes. So what I love about this, first of all, is that it gives us the proper energy with which to show up here at the beginning of the year. It gives us the proper energy with which to approach the new year. And that is the energy of joy, and that is the energy of freedom. Okay, joy seems real easy and understandable, and we've just come out of a wonderful holiday season which has lots of celebration in it. So we just need to carry some of that joy that hopefully we centered into in the holiday season, and just carry that into our lives, into the new year. We need to carry it with us all the time. You know, one of the wonderful things about celebrating during the holiday season is there is this idea that regardless of the issues that you may have going on in your life and how problematic those may be for you from time to time, there's just this energy that you just put that all aside for the holidays, for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, for Kwanzaa, for Hanukkah, and whatever other holidays there are, and you just celebrate. You just let go of your concerns about the world, and you just find joy, and you find friends and family, and you celebrate. And you all have family, because you all have the Community Miracle Center family. So we all have family. And, you know, that's really grounded in some very important spiritual principle, which is the world doesn't really matter. You know, on one level it matters, but on a higher level it doesn't. And every so often it's important to come from that higher level. And on the holidays we come from that higher level, we let go of all the concerns of the world, and we celebrate. And we need to bring an aspect of that joy and that celebration into our day-to-day lives. Now, obviously, a proper balance of work and celebration has to be found and has to be maintained. We can get really out of balance if we celebrate a little too much. I'm sure all of us have had those moments. But knowing in the back of our minds that all those worldly concerns ultimately are not real, and the joy of the celebration is so much more real than all the concern that spins around on the problem level. So I do try to maintain that. I have been criticized several times in my life and in my career as an A Course in Miracles minister that I am too happy. I'm just too happy. Uh, and I'm always amused when I hear that in one form or another, because how can anyone be too happy, really? Can you be too happy? Maybe you don't have the balance quite right. I do want people to know that I am not always happy. Those who are close to me know that I'm not always happy. The issues of the world get the best of me from time to time. And I just allow those low moments to flow through me. And I know they won't last, because my mind holds only what I think with God. And those thoughts and the reality that they seem to have, they're not what I think with God. And then I just wait sometimes. Sometimes all you can do is wait. I just wait for the happiness to return. And yeah, I'm probably pretty upbeat and happy here at the Sunday gathering, because, this is one of the high points of my week. I love being here at the Sunday gathering with all of you. I feel the love that we all have for each other. And I think it's amazing. And it makes me happy. Sometimes I'm not feeling particularly happy on Saturday or Saturday night as I'm working, and I remember, tomorrow's Sunday. I'll be with everybody at the Sunday gathering, and it cheers me up, picks me up right then. So, yeah, I try to be happy. People criticize being too happy because it seems frivolous, not serious enough, not reverential enough. If I was really reverential, I wouldn't be so happy. Well, I don't think there's anything more reverential than joy. I mean, joy is just about as reverential as it gets. Course in Miracles says, learn to be happy learners. Learn to be happy learners. Okay, so hopefully I've learned that. And hopefully a lot of you have learned that as well. It also says, the Holy Spirit needs a happy learner in whom his mission can be happily accomplished. There are passages after passages in A Course in Miracles that talk about the importance of feeling joy and being happy. I actually think that frequent happiness is possibly what distinguishes us as A Course in Miracles people. A Course in Miracles people are frequently happy. Maybe not consistently happy, because we all have those problematic appearances from time to time to deal with. But we heal from those, and then we return to happiness. Let's also remember here at the beginning of the year that healing and happiness are directly related. The Course tells us to heal is to make happy. Our happiness translates to others, makes them happy. That's what healing is. The Course says those who attempt to heal without being wholly joyous themselves call forth different kinds of responses at the same time, and thus deprive others of the joy of responding wholeheartedly. To be wholehearted, you must be happy. So at the beginning of the year, let's remember this. Let's remember the joy. The year is supposed to begin in joy. Let's remember the happiness, and let's remember that to accomplish our healing purpose here in the year, we have to be happy. We have to be wholehearted. We have to communicate that wholeheartedness to others, to inspire them to be wholehearted, to inspire them to be happy. There are those out there who are waiting to feel our happiness so that they too can choose to be happy. And there is no higher, really, mission than that. That's an incredibly high mission. So happiness, joy, it's not frivolous. It is reverential. And it is what Jesus and the Holy Spirit are asking of us. Okay, so the quote that I started, so will the year begin in joy and freedom. So I've been talking about joy. Let's talk about freedom a little bit. I love freedom. We're supposed to enter the year here in the energy of freedom, of feeling free, of communicating freedom, of embracing freedom. Last year when I don't know, about the middle of the year, I was talking about freedom a lot. And I was actually told by somebody I respect that I had to be careful talking about freedom because freedom was a controversial topic right now in our society. Really? Freedom is controversial? Well, if freedom is controversial, bring on the controversy. I've always been about freedom. My whole life has been about freedom. As a young person, growing up in the midst of the draft and the war and all of that, I have always been all about freedom. And of course, in Miracles is all about freedom. As I said, some months ago when I was talking about freedom, you hear a lot of people will give forgiveness workshops based on A Course in Miracles because, forgiveness is a key issue in A Course in Miracles. I don't know anybody who's ever given a freedom workshop. But freedom is talked about in A Course in Miracles just about as much as forgiveness is. There is the word free or freedom is actually in A Course in Miracles 652 times. I mean, that's a lot of times. That is really, really foundational. And that doesn't count the number of times it talks about slavery or imprisonment. And of course, it's talking about those things as something we want to move away from, which means it's talking about freedom as well. So, I mean, there's a huge amount of teaching about freedom, being free, not being enslaved, that is in A Course in Miracles. It is one of the big key issues of A Course in Miracles. Okay, here's a quotation, not one that's talked about a lot. It's referring to our workbook practice and allowing Holy Spirit to guide us, allowing Him to teach us how to go, and trusting Him, Holy Spirit, completely for the way each practice period can best become a loving gift of freedom to the world. So people study A Course in Miracles, study the workbook lessons, and they probably think the workbook lessons are going to help them be at peace. Maybe they think the workbook lessons are going to help them be more loving. And yes, of course, they do those things. But they help us be a beacon of freedom to the world. And that's how to be loving. We give the world the loving gift of freedom. So the ego, our ego mind, sees the world and our existence in it as a form of slavery. I mean, we're slave to the body and its limitations. We're slave to the body and its limited life, defined as that period of time between birth and death of the body. That's our limited life. We are slave to that. But here at the beginning of the year, joyfully, let's proclaim our freedom, because that's the energy that we're supposed to be approaching the new year with joy and freedom. Course in Miracles says, as long as a single slave remains to walk the earth, your release is not complete. Complete restoration of the sonship is the only goal of the miracle-minded. That goes to show you how important freedom is. We are here to restore the Holy Child of God to the awareness that he, she is free, that they are not slave to their body. They're not even defined by their bodies. I am not defined by my body. You are not defined by your body. We were defined by God when we were created, And that creation defined us as free. So complete healing, complete restoration is total freedom. And that's what we're here to communicate. And we need to remember that now, at the beginning of the year. So celebration's great. Sometimes you got to get down to business a little bit. First week of the year, time to get down to business a little bit. Well, our business here is to communicate, demonstrate, and teach freedom to the world. Great quote from A Course in Miracles. Spirit am I, a holy Son of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive and free to save the world. Okay, so what is my freedom? Well, I'm free to save the world. Now, I'm free to declare that. I'm free to embrace that. I am free to dedicate my life to that. I do my best. I am here to save the world. I'm free to do that. No one, no worldly thing can tell me that I cannot do that. I can do that. We all can do that. We all are doing that. We all will do that. We all will save the world. That is why we are here, and we are free to do it. And we need to remember that freedom here at the beginning of the world. You know, maybe if I was a body, yeah, I might see that might not be possible, but I'm not a body. So I am the holy divine child of God. I am unlimited in my power. All of us are. We are free. We have freedom, and we are free to save the world. Another great thought from the workbook. I am not a body. I am free, for I am still as God created me. God's creation is full of freedom. No restriction, no limitation. We don't even know how to conceptualize the idea of existence without limitation. I try to do that all the time in the meditations, that there's nothing outside of us. There's no energy outside of us. There's no wisdom outside of us. There is no outside. It's a challenging idea. Sometimes I'm just repeating it, but I've repeated it a lot in my lifetime. And a part of that truth has registered. I know I am free. I know I am not a body. You know, I think it's important to remember that A Course in Miracles manifested itself in the mid and to late 60s and then published in the mid 70s in the United States of America. And the United States of America is noted for freedom. I mean, that's what we're known for. There's a tragedy going on right now at our southern border with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people coming across the southern border, causes all kinds of problems. We look at it, we wonder what to do about it, we wonder how to heal it. And let's step back a moment and just take it in. Hundreds of thousands, millions of people, most of them, not all of them, but most of them are coming here for freedom. Regardless of how Americans think about themselves and their own country, the universal perception still in the world is this is a land of freedom, and this is a land of opportunity. And a lot of people that are coming here for that freedom and for that opportunity are fleeing countries where they don't have that freedom, where they don't have that opportunity. They're fleeing socialist countries where they are more restricted in what they can do, and where those policies have really decimated economies and societies, and they're fleeing that, and they're coming to a place of freedom. Yeah, some come here nefariously, and it's a huge problem, but I do frequently want to remember that that beacon of freedom that the United States is also the country that A Course in Miracles manifested itself in. And A Course in Miracles is noted for freedom as well. The symbol of the United States of America is an eagle. And I've always loved the symbol of the eagle, the symbol of the USA, my country. And the eagle actually figures symbolically into A Course in Miracles. Here's one of the quotes. It says, "It is of them who learned of freedom that you should ask what freedom is. Ask not the sparrow how the eagle soars. For those with little wings have not accepted for themselves the power to share with you." So we're supposed to remember the eagle and use that as a symbol for soaring high. Yeah, I've got a wonderful picture of an eagle I'm going to share with all of us here on screen share. I mean, look at that eagle. It's just terrific. Another quote is, "Who would attempt to fly with the tiny wings of a sparrow when the mighty power of an eagle has been given him?" Just look at the wings on that eagle. Those are our wings. Are we trying to fly with a sparrow's wings? Not a knock on sparrows, just a metaphor here. We got those wings. We got these eagle wings. We got freedom's wings. Are we communicating that to people? That they have eagle wings too? That they can soar? That they have the freedom that is inherent in a holy child of God? Well, that's the energy we're supposed to be bringing into the new year. So let's do it. I'm doing it. I got the message. I'm here. I'm bringing the energy of joy and freedom. How is that a controversial message? I can't believe that is a controversial message. So will the year begin in joy and freedom. You know, all too often we just say these words and we don't really just take them in. It's given us two things to think about here at the beginning of the year: joy and freedom. Joy and freedom. You know, in that reading that Lucky read, there was another quote about freedom that caught my eye, and it said, "You could never have taught freedom unless you did believe in it. And it must be that what you taught came from yourself. What functions must be there?" So this is an interesting Course in Miracles teaching, and it talks the same thing about happiness in another place. It's that we can teach freedom without us totally feeling it ourselves if we are doing the best just to come from us being the Christ, come from us following Holy Spirit's guidance, come from us letting go of our little self. So we can teach people to be happy even when we're not feeling totally happy. And we can teach freedom to people and friends and all those we interact with that without actually feeling free ourselves if we're just centered in and sharing the Holy Spirit. There is something within us that is doing it even without our conscious awareness. And when we see that we have done it, then it wants us to know, if it happened through you, it was you that did it. And if it was you that did it, you can connect with that truth of who and what you are. You are joy. Even if you don't feel joy, notice how you bring joy to other people. And then know that that must mean that you are joy. And if you are freedom and you make other people feel free, even if you're not feeling free, that freedom must be in you. And since it's having that effect on others, you can connect with it yourself. So joy and freedom, even if we're not feeling it, come from it as a given truth. Know that the Holy Spirit, that Jesus, is going to help you communicate that regardless of how you're feeling. And then when you see the effect, know that that came from you. And then connect better to the joy and freedom yourself. So everybody has the ability to come from joy and freedom here at the beginning of the year. And that's how our year is to begin. So will the year begin in joy and freedom. I offer you my joy and freedom, and I accept yours. And I feel so joyful and so free just to be here sharing these ideas with you. Okay, that's my talk for today. Thank you very much.